Inside Judea 2,000 years ago. How biblical characters lived. Paragraph 1. Imagine stepping into the dusty streets of Judea 2,000 years ago, a land alive with the textures, smells, and rhythms of daily life that are almost unimaginable today. The towns of Bethlehem, Nazareth, and Jerusalem were bustling centers where religion, family, and survival intertwined constantly. Houses were simple structures made from sun-dried mud bricks, often with flat roofs where families slept to escape the heat of the day. Water was collected from communal wells or drawn from nearby streams, a task typically assigned to women and children, which could take hours each day. The marketplaces were vibrant, full of merchants loudly advertising fresh bread, dried fish, olive oil, spices, and textiles. The air carried the rich scents of baking bread, mingling with herbs and the earthy smell of livestock. Men wore tunics belted at the waist, cloaks for travel, and sandals that left their feet dusty from the roads. Women dressed in long garments with scarves over their heads, practical yet modest, often dyed with colors from plants and minerals. Life was intensely communal. Families were large, often spanning 3 or more generations living under one roof, sharing work, meals, and stories. Boys learned reading, writing, and the Torah from local teachers or their fathers, while girls mastered household skills, weaving, and cooking, preparing them for future responsibilities. Religion permeated every activity: daily prayers, sacrifices at the temple, and observance of festivals like Passover, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot structured life. Even leisure activities like storytelling, singing, and games often carried moral or spiritual lessons. The sounds of goats bleating, children playing, and neighbors calling across courtyards mixed with the rhythmic pounding of grain, creating a vivid, sensory backdrop that biblical figures like Mary, Joseph, and young Jesus would have experienced daily. Understanding these details allows us to step fully into a Judea where survival, community, and faith were inseparable, and every small action, from drawing water to offering bread to a neighbor, was part of a larger, meaningful pattern of life. Paragraph 2. Life in Judea was defined not only by domestic routines, but also by the ever-present realities of political tension and social hierarchy. The Roman occupation imposed taxes, enforced laws, and stationed soldiers who reminded villagers of the cost of rebellion, influencing behavior and daily choices. A carpenter like Joseph rose before dawn to prepare tools and timber, teaching his son, Jesus, skills that were vital for survival and respected in the community, while simultaneously modeling patience, diligence, and faith. Agriculture dominated the economy, with fields of wheat, barley, olives, and grapes providing the backbone of food security. Sheep and goats were essential, supplying milk, cheese, wool, and occasional meat for religious festivals. Meals were labor-intensive. Grain had to be ground into flour with hand-operated mills, bread baked in communal ovens, and vegetables and legumes prepared slowly over open fires. Synagogues functioned as centers for education and worship, while the Grand Temple in Jerusalem symbolized spiritual authority, drawing pilgrims from distant towns who came to pray, sacrifice, and celebrate holy days. Social hierarchy was prominent. Priests, elders, and scribes held significant influence, while farmers, tradespeople, and laborers played essential but more modest roles. Life demanded negotiation between spiritual obligations and survival needs. Daily interactions, whether in the marketplace or at home, were infused with religious awareness, ethical considerations, and concern for reputation. Festivals such as Passover were communal experiences that reinforced identity and memory, while the shadow of Roman control reminded everyone of the fragility of life. Ordinary villagers lived alongside prophets, teachers, and leaders who debated laws, challenged injustice, and guided communities, illustrating that Judea was a dynamic society where faith, labor, and politics coexisted, in a delicate balance. Paragraph 3. The cultural and spiritual continuity of Judea was sustained through family, tradition, and ritual. Storytelling was a core method of transmitting values, recounting the deeds of ancestors, acts of faith, and lessons from the Torah. Children learned by observation and participation, helping harvest olives, grind grain, tend animals, and prepare meals, absorbing the rhythm of labor and devotion simultaneously. Women, while largely confined to domestic spaces, held the critical role of maintaining household order, teaching skills, preserving stories, and ensuring family cohesion. Hospitality was a revered virtue. Travelers and strangers were offered food, water, and shelter, reinforcing bonds between households and communities. Clothing, although primarily functional, often indicated social status or religious observance. Decorations, fabrics, or colors could signal wealth, respectability, or adherence to tradition. Music, dance, and poetry accompanied celebrations, embedding joy into rituals and daily life. Biblical characters, from prophets to humble villagers, navigated spiritual and moral challenges within these routines. Daily acts such as prayer, observance of dietary laws, and ritual preparation of sacrifices were deeply integrated into ordinary life, while personal reflection, meditation, and storytelling cultivated a sense of purpose and continuity. Observing the stars, attending communal feasts, and participating in synagogue readings connected individuals to the cosmos, community, and divine expectation. Life was thus simultaneously practical, spiritual, and cultural, providing a rich and textured experience where every action contributed to the collective memory and identity of Judean society. Paragraph 4. Judea was also a crossroads of commerce, travel, and cultural exchange, despite its rural and often remote appearance. Roads linked small villages with major urban centers like Jerusalem, enabling the movement of goods, ideas, and people. Caravans transported pottery, textiles, wine, and spices, while fishermen along the Sea of Galilee provided fresh fish for local markets. Festivals attracted pilgrims from distant regions, creating a melting pot of languages, traditions, and commerce, where artisans, merchants, and teachers interacted and exchanged knowledge. Biblical figures took advantage of these interactions, teaching, debating, and guiding others through familiar stories and parables. Travel demanded physical endurance, uneven roads, exposure to the elements, and the scarcity of shelters tested resilience. Roman oversight and occasional bandits added risks, but journeys reinforced social networks and expanded knowledge. Negotiations in markets, consultations with local authorities, and hospitality extended to travelers all reflected the delicate balance of survival, spiritual responsibility, and social engagement. For the people of Judea, commerce was inseparable from culture and faith, with trade, ritual, and learning intertwined. Biblical narratives often emerge from this dynamic environment, where Jesus' journeys between towns, his teachings to fishermen and farmers, and his engagement with social outcasts reflect a society deeply connected through both human and divine networks. Paragraph 5. Ultimately, the Judea of 2,000 years ago was a society where everyday life, spiritual devotion, and community responsibilities were deeply entwined. Every task, preparing food, tending fields, weaving fabrics, or raising livestock, carried both practical necessity and moral significance. Biblical figures existed within these layers, negotiating personal choices, social expectations, and divine guidance. Festivals, rituals, and prayers provided structure and meaning, creating a rhythm that aligned human endeavor with spiritual purpose. Stories of sacrifice, loyalty, betrayal, and compassion were lived experiences, forming the moral and ethical fabric of society.
You are too kind.
The smell of baking bread, the chatter of markets, the prayers in synagogues, and the solemnity of temple rituals made life tactile and vivid. Understanding this world allows modern readers to appreciate the courage, resilience, and faith of biblical characters who navigated occupation, social hierarchy, and religious obligations. By immersing ourselves in these lived experiences, we witness a Judea that was challenging, vibrant, and profoundly interconnected, where individuals contributed to communal life while maintaining personal devotion, leaving legacies that resonate across centuries. Every element of daily life, from labor to worship, storytelling to feasting, created a tapestry of human experience where survival, culture, and faith were inseparable, revealing a world both foreign and remarkably familiar in its humanity.